in puzzle list. So find out all puzzle names with Soma cube in puzzle list, uh, subtract that out from puzzle list and assign that back to puzzle list, right? So note the order of the operations. First we did it with completed and then we did it with puzzle list. And we could also, for this completed part, we could also do it something like this. And even for the puzzle list part, so completed, assign completed to select puzzle name not equals to Soma cube from completed. And that would get me all the results that do not equal to Soma cube. Essentially, you understand. Relation database take care of those things itself, and but we do need to make sure that we understand how those foreign constraints work out. I already talked about that. Okay, now updating tuples. So let's say that we have this relation here, that is account ID, branch name, and balance. And let's say that we want to add 5% interest to all the bank account balances, right? So essentially for every balance that we have, it's a credit account or whatever, for every balance that we have, we would want to add a 5% interest to that particular balance, right? So how can we do something like that? So essentially we will use the generalized projection, right? So so from the relation account, that is this entire relation, project out account ID. Okay, fine. So that gets me those attribute values. Project out branch name. Okay, so that gets me all of these branch values, and project out balance times 1.05. So for every balance that we have here, get that balance, multiply it with 1.05 to add a 5% interest, and basically save it back to account, right? So that is how we can use project to actually update your tuples in your relations. And note that this does not actually have to be a single attribute. So for example, if we have, let's say balance as, let me just type this thing out. So let's say that we had our schema as, oh no, let's say that we had our schema as account ID, branch name, balance, and interest rate, right? So let's say that we had account ID, balance, branch name, and interest rate. Okay, we get the idea, right? So if we wanted to, let's say that, I'll give you an example of those things. So let's say A301 has a branch name of, what was it? New York, has a balance of 350. I can't be bothered to compute that. Let's just say 100. And let's say have an interest rate of 5%. And let's say that A307 is in Seattle, has a balance of, again, 200, don't mind me, and let's say has an interest rate of 2%. So let's say that I want to update my table such that my new balance column has an interest rate added upon to it with respect to the interest rate that it has. So every account has their own personal interest rate. Maybe you sweet talk to your branch manager to get you a better interest rate or worse, things like that. And we don't want to add a fixed 5% to all of our accounts, but depending upon the interest rate, we would add whatever's required, right? So for that, what do we need to do? And note that, so first what we need to project out is balance times 1 plus interest rate by 100, right? That is what we need to do. So balance times 1 plus interest rate by 100, right? Right? So this would be your equation to update your balance, right? So 1 plus 5 by 100 gets me 0.05. So 1 plus 0.05 gets me a 5%, 1.05 times balance. So 100 becomes 105, 200 becomes 204, leave, okay, and so on, right? No, not 200. Yes, 204, 208, okay. Anyway, this would be your generalized project operation for the particular balance. But note that we just can't say that account is basically project with this predicate, right? So I'm just going to type out the predicate like this with respect to, yes, with respect to account, right? I should have brought out Wattpad or MS Word, but essentially we can't just say project this back to account. We need to have all other attributes in my list as well. So we need to have account ID, comma, branch name, comma, balance. No, balance is this part. This is our new balance, comma, interest rate. Right? We need to have all of those attributes, because just computing that and then assigning it to account would just mean that account would now just have one column. So we also need to project out all of those other columns as well. Okay. Let's say that we want to update some tuples in our relation, but not all of those tuples. So tuple is a row, right? So we want to add 5% interest to accounts with a balance less than 10,000, and everything else remains the same. So for that, we have um, project account ID, branch name, balance times 1.05. And we select all balances that are less than 10,000 from the account. That gets us all rows from that account that have a balance less than 10,000, performs this generalized project operation, and we have all the rows updated to the new balance. But we also need to perform the union operations to all of those tuples that have an account balance greater than 10,000, right? Because otherwise we are overwriting those things. We also need to have those unupdated or non-updated tuples as well. Any questions on this one? Simple stuff, right? Okay. Okay. Similarly, let's say that we want to add 5% interest to accounts with a balance less than 10,000 and 6% interest to accounts that have a balance of greater than 10,000. Essentially, project out account ID, branch name, balance times 1.5 for all balances less than 10,000, and blah, 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 balance times 1.6 for all balances greater than or equal to 10,000 from the account, right? So always remember that we need to include any non-updated tuples when we are trying to update a particular relation. Otherwise, it just means that we are not including the non-updated results. So our new relation just has the updated values, none of the unupdated or non-updated values. Okay. So to summarize, essentially, that was basically relational algebra. Next class, we will start off officially with SQL and actually start working with actual databases in the first place. But for now, let's just summarize relational algebra a bit. So it is a very expressive query language. It can be used to retrieve information from your relations, and it can be used to update information in your relations as well. Almost all or most databases use relational algebra under the hood to perform or compute any of the queries and relations that you do. So for those of you who know some SQL, all of those operations that you did, like select, from, where, blah, 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 all of those things are under the hood are being performed using these relational algebra operations that we have learned so far. So it can also allow changes to your relations, inserts, deletes, and updates. It is a procedural query language. That means that everything that we need to do, we need to specify how to do it and what we want. That is the difference between a procedural language and a declarative language, where in a declarative language, you just say what you want. and the system decides how to do it in your behalf or on your behalf. Okay. Um, the main benefit of relational algebra is that it can be formally specified, and we can reason about these things because it comes down from set theory operations and set algebra, all of those things, and all of those math operations and those mathematical proofs also apply to relational algebra proofs as well, right? But the drawback is it is very verbose. We need to specify everything and we need to type out a lot of things, which is something that you guys will understand when we get our first homework. I know that I have not uploaded the first homework yet. So quick aside, I will post the first homework by tomorrow afternoon. I'm sorry I did not post it yet. I will post it by tomorrow afternoon and it will be due by next Friday. Okay. Okay. Um, usually database systems do not like these verbose statements, and they usually provide a simpler query language. The thing that we are going to learn is basically SQL or structured query language. Essentially, we are going to use MariaDB, that is an open source fork of the MySQL database systems. So before next class, I would like you guys to install MySQL or MariaDB or some database system to your computer, so that in your laptop, so that you can actually play around with it. We will start off easier by just creating some databases and adding some tuples there. But later down the line, we will also use those for our homeworks and things like that. So try that out this weekend, and also let me know if you have any issues installing your database system, and we can also talk about that. So you can find resources for that, or you can also get in touch with the TA and she will be able to help you install database system. Okay. Many databases use relational algebra like operations internally, and they are basically great for representing execution plans. So what it means is, remember that we could compose multiple relational algebra operations together into a single operation. That also gave us those parentheses and those order of things that we had to execute. So if we can somehow convert a SQL query to a relational algebra query, it becomes much easier to optimize what we need to do, right? So we get a mathematical concept of what the user wants, and then it allows your database to figure out what is the best order of operations to get the result that would be the most efficient, right? Okay. So yes, so next time we will transition on towards SQL from relational algebra. The slides for SQL is already up on Blackboard, so you will be able to find it. And let's just start a bit since we have a few minutes. So essentially, up to now, we were just talking about the mathematical or the formal definitions that we would be using later down the line for our database manipulation and database updation queries, mainly the relational algebra part. SQL is basically a language that is built on top of these relational algebra models that allow us to write or query a database using relational algebra, but with a much easier syntax. Rather than just having those Greek letters and things like that, we have a much easier syntax that works out well. As I said earlier, it was first devised by a person called Edward Codd in the 70s, and then IBM later down the line, IBM and Oracle actually took it up.